Ladies and gents, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about Age of Mythology's most important issues again. I've made a video like this before, and basically what ended up happening after is the developers actually fixed a lot of the problems or made the issues less severe, which is great, but not all of them were fixed by a long shot, and we've probably got some newly discovered ones or newly appeared ones. So let's go through those. But basically the reason I have to do this is because the current structures for reporting issues just don't take things into account when fewer people are affected. And with some of these, it's going to be mostly the multiplayer community, which is fewer people than the overall players. I'll talk a bit about that later, but let's just get into the issue. So first off, we've got a problem with the box formation and how it breaks movement and drops attack move orders. So I'm just going to jump into the editor here to reproduce it right away. And then we'll have a bunch of videos from community members. Okay, so here we have a nice little complex army. It's all good as long as you just give them a move order and then change your formations. They'll behave. It's cool. It's responsive. You can change them very quickly as well. They'll respond. It's all good. But as long as it's an attack move, you can tell by the red there. If I change the formation now, they drop the order and stop in place. So that's pretty bad. And the community has several videos about this as well, especially with movement altogether not working. So feast your eyes upon that.
Ne, esto, bulame, malista, bulame, pani, malista, ne, pani, bulame, esto, bulame.
For the second thing, let's take a look at this Anubite. It is chasing these villagers. That's all good. Then we're giving him an order, though, to attack that specific villager. Now, the Anubite is bumping into villagers, decides that it, in fact, cannot reach it, and so it attacks another, and it will keep doing so until the end of time. If it bumps into another villager, even though it could chase that, it will ignore your order and just go after another one. And I think RTS games are a lot about the tactile experience, about the fantasy that you are the commander and your units will obey your commands. Age of Mythology Retold unfortunately fails this due to this bumping system, so I really hope that this gets fixed. For the third issue, we're going to be talking a little bit about bump and grind. So this is when units kind of collide and they just need to move past each other, right? Like they have a move order or they are trying to attack something else, but there's someone else in the way. And what often ends up happening is they'll just keep doing their walking animations into each other and just stand in place. Now, I don't have a replay because there was a recent patch and didn't have time to play since, but it happens pretty often. Here's a bunch of videos that friends have sent me. Thanks to everyone that did. Alright, next up we've got these complex formations and how they respond to getting several move orders. So if they just go with a single order, they'll be going at the speed of the slowest unit, which in this case is the Cyclops at 3.8. However, if I give them multiple orders, they'll slow down significantly below that, as you can see. So if I spam my move orders, my army will just behave worse for absolutely no reason, basically. We still have some replays going out of sync as we did in the past, but they seem to be less common, so that's at least great. Have a look at Boyd's little reaction here.
I just turned off the map to see everything, and I was like, why is the map not changing? Oh no, we still have the out of sync.
Did you guys know you could also just leave lobbies? Let's say I don't like Elysium. I'm just gonna do this. See ya. And when I go back into the game, I'll be able to matchmake like normal. So this kind of dodging, I think, is just really unethical, and the developers should make it so that this is in fact a loss. The next one is actually a missing feature, so obviously I don't have any footage. Did you know that in the original Age of Mythology you could save a multiplayer game? Well, here you cannot, so if one of you disconnects, if one of you has to go, you can't just continue where left off. Somebody has to resign and take the L. It's particularly bad for tournaments. It's particularly bad for long matches between friends. I'd love to have it back. I think we all would. The next one I've actually seen across multiple Age series games. Basically, you pause the game and then you Alt F4 or quit the game in any other way. And your opponent will just be sitting there like a silly goose. And they have no idea that the game has ended. They have to actually unpause themselves before the game shows the victory screen. Let's also talk about clicking accuracy when it comes to trees. So, which tree do you guys think I'll be clicking here? Looking at my mouse cursor, is clearly over that orange one rather than the fallen one, right? Wrong. So you see, the old tree, it used to have its parts here covering this area, so the game just doesn't update in this, and you have to go quite a bit to the right. If I click here now, it's fixed, so it updates in really strange conditions there, but you'll often be misclicking due to where the old tree used to be. Lastly, this is how custom games look like if you have a mod enabled. You don't see what else is going on. The game looks like completely deserted, right? Well, the problem is that also the reverse is true. So normal players that can see the regular lobbies, if I made a lobby now as a mod user, so I've got like a rebalance mod enabled that changes the titans. If I host now, nobody can see that. Nobody will play with me unless I invite them from a Discord. It reduces the sense of community. What should happen is all the lobbies are shown, but you're prompted to get the mod in order to join a lobby with a mod. And that way the modding community will just thrive a whole lot more than it currently can. Getting into the last bit, I'd also like to address the haters a little bit. Look, guys, the thing is, I really love Age of Mythology, okay? I'm not happy with the technical state of things, and it makes me play a whole lot less than I'd normally like to. But there's been some extreme coping of people saying stuff like that my negative coverage somehow will hurt the sales of the game to the point where they won't be able to fix issues. I mean, that's just absolutely nuts. But let me just say with you, devs actually decide what to fix based on how many people are affected, at least to the best of my knowledge, right? So how vocal the community is about issues matters a lot. I can go and privately report this stuff, but it's ineffective. It's just me, right? What does that matter? What I think? It doesn't matter. What matters is what you think. There's so many of you, and if you speak up for your needs, that will be heard by the developers. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you. There's also other issues with how bugs are getting looked at, because very capable developers are going on and off the project, mostly off, as Microsoft unfortunately will be seeking cheaper contractors going forward across the entirety of the corporation, right? Forgotten Empires, the guys that have made like the Japanese DLC, they also have a very high amount of community figures in their company. who are very knowledgeable about Age of Mythology in general and have also become great developers themselves over time. Well, they no longer work on Age of Mythology as of the latest I know, which is a big problem. Like, you know, they keep rotating in new studios that don't really know the code base, that don't really know how the core of the game functions, and then we basically get slop. That's how these bugs come to be anyway. And the lack of them getting addressed also matters, because if the developer themselves see a major problem, they should be clear to fix it. They shouldn't have to go through all this process. The developer knows well enough about what issue matters and what doesn't. So I don't know. This is a really strange situation. I think the culture just needs to change at the Microsoft level itself, to be honest, to deliver highly polished games. That's what will make people happy to talk about it all the time, to share with their friends. And that should include power users, which make up a small percentage of the game. Those are, you know, the streamers, the tournament players. If they speak up, that usually has some volume to it. There's also been some accusations that I'm doing this for clicks and to get financial gain. Well, let me just show you something over here. This is the stats of my previous video. I haven't even gotten £5 for this, okay? You can see that it's actually the up-to-date data. A minimum wage in the UK is over £13. I'd be better off flipping burgers than doing this stuff. It's just, let's clear that up. And lastly, I just like to add that there's other stuff that still needs to be addressed, right? My top 10 is most certainly not comprehensive. There's many problems. And one of those that I'm personally quite passionate about is that it would be so good to have a global in-game chat. It's not really a bug that we don't have it. It's probably some moderation-related decision that the developers don't want to deal with, which is understandable. But not having it makes it so that there's no sense of community within the client. I can't just type in and ask people if anybody wants to go for a tiny match. They would have to go through several menus here in order to go to the lobbies, right? Like 1, 2 clicks to get there. Whereas if it's in the front end, I can just type it here and somebody will hopefully see it and say yes or no. That would be wonderful to see. Well, what are your top 10 issues with the game? It can be more than just bugs, by the way, so feel free to leave that in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully that will be not about issues, but just me actually wanting to play the game more and stream and make casts and make guides and all that kind of stuff. Because I want to, but I just can't bring myself to at the moment. I'd rather play other games. So I'll be doing that. See ya.